The worst wildfires California has ever faced. Thousands of firefighters are battling destructive blazes across the greater Los Angeles area, and they have not yet managed to bring the flames under control. The wind-whipped fires are destroying homes and forcing residents to flee. At least 5 people are confirmed dead, and more than 1,000 buildings have been destroyed. I'm joined now by someone who is directly affected by the fires. Tana Waldren is a resident of Santa Monica, and I understand she's currently trapped in her home due to heavy smoke. Tana, I'm glad that it looks like you're safe right now, but your situation sounds awful. Tell us what's going on where you are.
Well, I'm fairly close to PCH, which is the Pacific Highway that goes from Santa Monica, all the way up north, and it's been completely devastated. And basically, that's my only way out, is going on PCH, and it's closed down. Most of my friends live in the Palisades. They lost their house within a matter of seconds. And the schools where my kids went to school, the areas that, it's just one of the most beautiful, wild areas of Los Angeles. And everything's gone. And right now we've had to seal our windows because prior to this, there's been an epidemic going around with, respiratory illnesses. And so, all of this is making it even more hard. I mean, I can barely walk right now because I can't catch my breath because of the air so thick. So all I can do is really wait it out and just be of a support to, friends who have been displaced and who've literally lost an entire life in just a matter of couple of hours.
But Tana, have you been given any instructions on what to do? I mean, if the smoke becomes worse, so much so that you need to evacuate. I mean, have the fire authorities, have they told you what to do and when you should do that in case you need to leave?
No, we've been talking. I've been basically texting with my neighbors. Finding out, who's going, who's staying, what should we do? But we've decided that the best thing is just to stay in place. Yesterday we couldn't see outside. It was night all day because of the plumes of dark smoke, and the smell was just nauseating. But today the sun is shining and nobody would really know that anything's going on. But the moment you open a door, there's just a smell that is undescribable.
And Tana, I just want to be clear, are you by yourself in your home?
Yes. I mean, I'm by myself with my dog. And I could choose to maybe try to find a different way out. I could, but right now the fires are like all around us. Any direction we head in, we're probably, I think we're probably in the best place that we could be right now.
I mean, do you have enough food and bottled water, for example? I mean, in case you're stuck there for the foreseeable future.
I've lived in Los Angeles for so many years that you'd have to be insane not to have. Since the pandemic, my cupboards are full. We're always ready for an earthquake. We're always ready for, the different things that are going on. So we definitely have all our supplies in place. And, that's what makes us Angelinos. We're tough and we're ready. And
if I could, I know a lot of people watching this, I know a lot of people are going to be worried about you. I mean, so I assume you've got a car, and if you saw that the flames were coming towards your house, I assume you would be able to drive and try to get away, right?
I have the ocean in front of me. So it's not as though although Venice, I'm near Venice Beach, which has got some of the oldest trees in Los Angeles, and a lot of walk streets and so on. So, I would definitely I would definitely, head towards the beach, and I would feel okay. But actually, more dangerous than anything is when the wind comes up, is that, we have so many palms and trees
Yeah.
and so many street signs and stuff that I'd be more afraid about being hit by something,
Yeah.
or my car being hit by something, than actually just, buckling down and staying at home. I've been lying low. I put my my mattress on the floor, and I've got my air purifier going
Yeah.
so that, that the smoke can, like I said, I taped up my windows. Right now, the air quality doesn't seem to actually, right now is like, it's a little bit eerie because everything just seems terribly normal.
I mean, they seem to have happened for those of us on the outside looking in. I mean, this happened very quickly. Were you caught off guard? I mean, or did you fear that this was going to be a wildfire season or situation that we wouldn't soon forget?
No idea. Absolutely no idea what was going on. In fact, I'd been in bed. I've had COVID and pneumonia. So I've been pretty cut off. And then I got a call from one of my friends saying, can I drop my dog off because we're evacuating? And I said, what do you mean you're evacuating? And I opened the door and I could barely step outside because the wind gusts were so strong.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, it just was like a domino effect that, it's just kind of unbelievable. And then my son, who's at the University of Santa Barbara, all his friends live in the Palisades, and he was just calling every minute saying, Mommy, so-and-so's house is gone. Mommy, so-and-so is like, Mommy, it's like, and they're all at college, so they're not even with their families. So they have absolutely nothing to come back to.
Yeah, I'm sure he's worried about his mother, as I'm sure a lot of people will after they see this interview. We certainly wish you all the best. Tana Waldren in Santa Monica. I hope that you feel better.
I consider myself, I just want to say that I consider myself very, very lucky.
Yeah.
People are going through some really horrific things. So I have, I feel my heart just goes out for it. It's just, you can't, you can't believe it even with your own eyes.
All right. Tana, we appreciate your time. All the best to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And for more now, I'm joined by Ben Allen. He's a California state senator. He represents the 24th Senate District, and that includes Hollywood and the Santa Monica Mountains areas of Los Angeles County. He joins me tonight from Santa Monica. It's good to have you with us on the program, unfortunately, under these circumstances. Can you tell me, Mr. Allen, what's the situation in your district right now?
Just devastating. We've been following this very closely. The whole community, the Palisades, it's like a bomb went off in that area. Massive, massive destruction. The Hollywood fire that was mentioned, thankfully, they were able to get a really good handle on it. It's still burning, but there's been incredible progress made and very little damage to structures in Hollywood. But in the Palisades, it's a different story. It's devastating. A number of my very good friends have lost their homes. There's massive evacuation zones. There's a whole logistical challenge associated with evacuating tens of thousands of people from a difficult terrain. But it's been a very difficult couple of days, as you can imagine.
Los Angeles mayor, we understand, has lifted evacuation orders for Hollywood. Does that mean that people can go back to their homes?
Yes. Yes, that's right. So people can go back in that area. We were very worried. In fact, there was quite a serious concern with regards to the number of people that live in Hollywood. Hollywood is a densely packed community. Mm-hmm. So lifting those orders also reduces the strain on the region. We were really worried that with having to evacuate that entire community, it would really strain the region. But the Palisades is still very much a no return zone.
Mr. Allen, are you satisfied with the response to fight these fires that we've seen so far?
Well, I'm glad that the state put some assets in place beforehand because we knew that there was going to be the risk of fire. The president immediately responded to the governor's call and has declared a maximal emergency. There's been a lot of really, really positive assistance that started to come through. We have fire trucks coming from all over the state. In fact, all over the West. We have fire trucks coming in from Arizona and Nevada. Oregon, but clearly, there still wasn't enough on the ground. Part of what made this really hard is that the winds were unusually intense, and we also had several fires happening all at once, which really put a strain on our local ability to fight all those fires at the same time. So, of course, I'm not satisfied because, in the end of the day, we lost so much of a community. But I do know that the system has been kicking into gear and is providing us with a lot of assistance now.
Yeah.
But the devastation is tremendous.
I mean, we've had reports from firefighters saying that, they've run out of water in some circumstances, or they've tried to hook up to fire hydrants and the pressure was simply too low because everyone was tapping into the water grid. I mean, that's hard to imagine in a place like Los Angeles. Is it possible that greater Los Angeles was caught off guard by this?
Yeah, I mean, remember that these the Palisades are up in the hills. So one of the challenges was that you have to pump the water up, and when the power went down, and they depleted the water resources up in the hill already, then the water pressure started to drop because you didn't have the capacity to keep pumping all the water up into the hills. That's a big part of what ended up happening. I had a very good friend of mine is a firefighter and was up there fighting the fire. So that was the heart of the problem. I mean, clearly we have a lot to learn from this.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to really invest a lot more in that water infrastructure going forward.
I understand that you have sponsored legislation to help residents and first responders get in and out of fire danger areas. And I ask you that because of the pictures that we've seen the last 24 hours of highways with abandoned cars. People had to basically leave their cars and use their legs to evacuate. How have the evacuations now, with this immediate hindsight, how do you think the evacuations have gone?
Yeah, it got very chaotic. They literally had to start bulldozing cars out of the way just to be able to allow the first responders to go up. Part of my argument, we have a major housing crisis in California, and we need to figure out more ways to produce more housing. However, I don't believe that a smart way to grow is by building in very high fire risk zones. And that's one of the many lessons I think from the last couple of days. So, from my perspective, our housing strategy ought to be focused on infill and in the cities that are transit rich and jobs rich, as opposed to continuing policies that expand housing in very high fire risk zones. I mean, it's so hard to get in and out of these regions when there's a fire, and it really caused some challenge, both for the people fleeing and for the first responders that were trying to get in there.
California State Senator Ben Allen. Mr. Allen, we know it's a busy time for you right now. We appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, and we wish you and all your constituents all the best in this disaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you so much.